Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to discuss about the drying of crude drugs. So drying is necessary process before marketing a crude drug as a pharmaceutical preparation to make it look elegant and also to preserve it for a longer time. Source of drug and its chemical nature decides which drying process should be followed. In some crude drugs, some other methods are required to enhance drying process. For example, fermentation in case of Cinnamomum zeylanicum bark, slicing and cutting into smaller pieces is carried out in case of squill. Drying methods. There are two methods basically: natural drying, artificial drying. Now, natural drying can be of sun drying and shade drying. Sun drying: if the content of a particular drug is such that it will remain stable in the temperature of sunlight, then such drugs are dried under the sunlight. Examples are gum, acacia fruits and seeds. Next is shade drying. When the natural color and volatile principles of a crude drug is to be retained, then such drugs are dried in the shade. For example, retention of color is required in case of clove. Retention of volatile principle is required in case of peppermint. Artificial drying. Artificial drying processes are carried out basically in the ovens, and some other processes are there. Some rays are also used. First of all, there is tray drying, vacuum drying, freeze drying, microwave drying, infrared drying and spray drying. Tray drying. Now heat stable drugs which requires enzyme deactivations and do not contain volatile oil are dried by this method. Hot air of required temperature is circulated through dryers so as to facilitate removal of moisture content of drugs. For example, belladonna roots, cinchona bark, raspberry leaves, tea leaves, various gums are dried by this method. Vacuum drying: drugs that are sensitive to higher temperature, that is moderately thermolabile drugs, are dried by this method. For example, digitalis leaves, tannic acid. Freeze drying: now this process is also known as lyophilization. In this method, plant material is first of all freeze and after that ice crystals are removed under vacuum. This process causes little degradation, so it is a good process of drying. Delicate compound containing crude drugs are dried by this method. For example, the preservation of active ingredients in plant roots and rhizomes, as in case of ginger and turmeric, is carried out by freeze drying methods. So ginger can be dried by both the freeze drying methods, and also another method is microwave drying. It is done with rapidity, where microwave energy is utilized to evaporate moisture within plant material. Example include St. John's wort, basil leaf, sage and ginger. Infrared drying. Infrared radiation is used to heat and dry plant material. For example, in case of peppermint and parsley, infrared drying is carried out. Next is spray drying. Crude drugs which are highly sensitive to atmospheric conditions and highly thermolabile and are not suitable for vacuum drying are dried by this method. This technique is incorporated for drying of economically important plant or animal constituents. Example includes papaya latex, pectin, tannin. Now, why proper drying process is necessary? There are four factors: preservation, purity, stability and storage. Preservation of the medicinal properties of plant material for a longer period of time. Removing excess moisture prevents the growth of microorganisms and mold, so which ensures the purity of the drug in the dried form. Stability: drying stabilizes the plant material, so making it less susceptible to chemical changes and the degradation over longer time. Proper storage: proper drying allows for the long-term storage of the crude drugs, and these drugs can be used in pharmaceutical production and also in herbal medicine later on. So crude Drying of crude drugs is a necessary process to ensuring their purity, preservation, stability and storage. And there are different processes by which we can dry crude drugs, like natural drying process, artificial drying process. So here I am ending my today's video, and see you in my next video. And if you guys like my videos, please subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching.